Forming an S-Corp. Should you use an LLC or corporation to start an S-Corp? Both options can be used to form an S-Corp. But which is the better one? For the most part, an LLC is the better choice. Why is that? Well, that's why we are here with you today. In this video, we'll explain why an LLC is better option for forming an S-Corp. We'll also let you know one exception where it would be better to use a corporation. Before we move on, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe for more educational content like this one. And also, a quick PSA. This video is not legal advice and you are not bound to follow it. This is just our opinion. If you are unsure of whether to use an S-Corp or a corporation to start your S-Corp, consult with a certified public accountant for advice. Let's begin. What is an S-Corp? First, let's clear up one thing most of you might be confused about. An S-Corp is not a business structure. It's a type of tax designation. The reason why people choose to be an S-Corp is because it has pass-through taxation and lesser FICA taxation on distributions given to owners. These are what make S-Corps popular. As already mentioned, you can use either an LLC or a corporation to form an S-Corp. LLCs also have pass-through taxation, whereas corporations have double taxation. Most people tend to use a corporation to form an S-Corp through force of habit because the formal structure known as the LLC did not exist in the early days. So people could only use a corporation to start an S-Corp. And business formation services that people hire also prefer to go with the old method of using corporations when applying for S-Corp tax status. But now that LLCs exist, you no longer have to rely on corporations to form an S-Corp. Why you should use an LLC or a corporation to start an S-Corp? We already mentioned that LLCs have pass-through taxation and corporations have double taxation. But if your corporation is taxed as an S-Corp, you will have pass-through taxation instead of the normal corporation double taxation. This removes all the advantages a corporation normally gives you. So there isn't any benefit to starting an S-Corp using a corporation. But if this is the case with corporations, what advantages do LLCs offer when using it to start an S-Corp? To name a few, it is much easier to form an LLC. They are much more flexible and don't need much paperwork compared to corporations. Due to these reasons, you should consider using an LLC to start your S-Corp over a corporation. The one exception. There is one exception when you might not want to use an LLC to start an S-Corp and instead use a corporation, and that is if your business is located in New York, because New York has certain publication requirements that you have to meet for LLCs which they don't have for corporations. So if you use a corporation to start an S-Corp in New York, you could be saving some money from having to go through those publication requirements if you are used to an LLC to start your S-Corp instead. How to form an S-Corp? Now that you know what type of business structure you should choose to form your S-Corp, let's walk you through the next steps. First, you have to form your LLC according to your state level requirements. Then, when filing for an employer identification number or EIN, you can choose to be taxed as an S-Corp by filing Form 2553. If this procedure seems too complicated or tiresome for you to do yourself, you can always hire a business formation service to take care of it for you. When doing so, however, make sure that the information service uses an LLC instead of a corporation to form your S-Corp. We recommend using Northwest registered agents. They will help with forming an LLC or filing for S-Corp status. Let's summarize what we have learned today. Both LLCs and corporations can be used to start an S-Corp, but LLCs are preferred since they are easier to maintain, are more flexible, and require less paperwork compared to corporations. Further, corporations lose their advantages when they are taxed as an S-Corp, making them redundant to use for starting an S-Corp. Give this video a like and leave a comment down below if you learned something today. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and subscribe for more business related content. Until next time.